Hey guys, it's Becca, and welcome to video number 4 of our Gingham Quilt sew-along series. In this video, we're going to take all of that fabric that we subcut in video 3 and assemble it together to make a whole bunch of quilt blocks. In video 5, we will take all those quilt blocks and turn them into a quilt top. Alright, so let's flip the camera around. I'm going to give you the view that I have on my table, and I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Alright, we're going to get started here. I've got some pins here because I'm actually going to show you how to pin this fabric. To get started, you're going to take one piece that you subcut from the dark medium pile and one piece that you subcut from the light medium pile, and you're going to arrange them in this configuration. What you're looking for is that your medium fabrics are opposite corners and your dark light are opposite corners. Now, it doesn't matter if it looks like this or this or this or this. It doesn't matter how your block is oriented as long as your dark, light are opposite corners and your two mediums are opposite corners. I promise you this is all going to come together in the end. So if you are a confident sewer, go ahead and sew all these up at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Don't forget to nest your seams. But if you're a beginner, let me show you what that means. We're going to take our two strip sets and put them right sides together. Remember, we learned about that in our last video where we did our sewing. And we're going to line it up so that the seams right here match. You'll see right now those two seams have a bit of a gap in it. And my finger and thumb, when I run over it, I can actually feel the fabric dip. I can feel that gap with my thumb and forefinger. So if I just use my thumb and finger to butt them up next to each other, this is what we call nesting our seams. The two seams are kissing. The fabrics are kissing. That means this is a nicely nested seam. And what that's going to give me is a perfect point where all four of those fabrics meet. Now, if these are overlapped, you'll feel that too because it'll be a very bulky seam. Once you've practiced with this a little bit, your thumb and your forefinger will really be able to tell you whether or not your seams are perfectly nested. If you're a beginner, I would highly encourage you to take just a little bit of time to pin that juncture so that you don't lose your point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my nested seam between my thumb and my forefinger in one hand. I'm going to grab a pin. A wonder clip will work too, but I'm going to use pins for this. I'm going to poke in through one side of that seam and then come up through the other side of the seam, and that's going to hold this strip set pretty securely. So when I go to my machine, I can sew, and when I approach that seam, once I've got the needle just a little bit onto that white fabric, I'll stop, pull the pin out, and continue sewing a 1/4 inch down the other side. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes and pin a couple more. So here's a dark medium, here's a light medium. We want to arrange the configuration so that it is medium in opposite corners, right sides together, make the seams kiss, put a pin through one side of that seam, and then poke it back up through the top on the other side of that seam. Here is a medium light and a dark medium. I've got my mediums in opposite corner, my dark light in opposite corner. We're going to make the fabrics kiss. And I'm going to use a pin to secure what is going to be that seam. And then the last time, I'll just do one more just so I can show you. Dark medium, light medium. So you'll notice if you're putting them together right, you should have a dark medium over here and a light medium over here. Your light fabric should be on top of a medium and your dark fabric should be on top of a medium. You should have a medium on both sides. All right, so I've got that pinned. All right, okay, so that's how you pin your fabric. Go ahead and pin the rest of these and then take them to a sewing machine. So a 1/4 inch right down here, and then press the seam to one side. Okay, so I'm back from my machine and I have all 4 of my blocks sewn together and they look exactly the same, which is exactly what I want. It doesn't matter how the block goes, the pattern is exactly the same. The way the pattern for this quilt is going to come together is when we start laying out our blocks side by side, and you'll see that in the next video. You just want to take the time to press your blocks. I pressed mine so that half of my seams were going to the light medium and half of the seams that I sewed are going to the dark medium. If you press them all to one side or press them completely open, that's fine too. Just so that you understand what pressing open means, it's when you actually take the time to press it so that the entire seam all the way down is open. So this medium fabric goes over here, this white fabric goes here, this medium fabric goes to the medium, and the dark goes to the dark. If you have the time and the energy to do that, please feel free to. You do not need to. I'm going to press mine so that half are going to the dark medium and half are going to the light medium. And that's just going to make my life a little bit easier when I assemble all of these blocks together to make my final quilt top. So that's it for this week. It's pretty simple, just putting all of our blocks together doesn't take that much time. Go ahead and sew all of those blocks together and press them open or to one side, whatever floats your boat. And I will see you guys in the next video when we take all of these blocks and put them together into our final quilt top. Okay, it's time for me to pick up my fabric and go to the machine.